Why do some people dream big but never take action? Have you ever met someone who talks endlessly about success, money, and the life they want, but years later they're still in exactly the same place? They can describe their dream perfectly, and they genuinely believe they could achieve it. So why does nothing actually change? Psychology suggests that the problem isn't always laziness. Sometimes, there are deeper psychological barriers keeping people stuck. 1. They mistake thinking for doing. The first problem is that thinking about your goal can feel surprisingly similar to making progress. You imagine yourself succeeding, plan every detail, and talk about what you're going to do. It feels productive, even when nothing has actually been done. The danger is that the feeling of progress can sometimes replace actual progress. 2. Fear of failure hides behind the dream. Some people aren't afraid of success, they're afraid of discovering that they might fail. As long as the dream stays inside their head, it remains perfect. But taking action creates the possibility of rejection, mistakes, and disappointment. So they keep planning instead of risking the possibility that reality might not match the image they have of themselves. 3. They keep waiting to feel ready. Another trap is believing that you need to feel completely ready before you begin. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time, more confidence, more money, or more motivation. But the feeling of readiness often comes after you start, not before. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you can spend years waiting for something that never comes. 4. They overthink everything. Some people don't have an action problem. They have an analysis problem. They think about every possible outcome, every mistake they could make, and every step they need to take. Eventually, their mind becomes so exhausted that doing nothing feels easier than making one decision. 5. Their self-image doesn't match their goals. There's another problem people often overlook. The way you see yourself can influence the actions you take. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not disciplined, I always quit, or I'm just not that kind of person, your behavior can start reflecting that identity. Your goal may require you to become someone you haven't learned to be yet. 6. They're attached to the idea of their potential. Some people become more attached to who they could become than to the work required to get there. Talking about your future can be exciting. You can imagine the money, the freedom, the success, and the person you'll eventually become. But real progress is usually much less exciting. It's repetitive, uncomfortable, and sometimes incredibly boring. And that's where the difference is made. Not when you imagine your future, but when you keep moving toward it even when the process isn't exciting anymore. Big dreams are easy to imagine. Turning them into reality requires something much harder, taking action before you feel completely ready.